Welcome back to Simple Mind Space, where we help you master your money and your mind. Today's episode is going to hit home for a lot of you because we're diving deep into a topic that plagues millions of Americans: debt. Let's face it, the D word can make people squirm. It's uncomfortable, it's stressful, and let's be honest, it can feel downright embarrassing. But here's the reality: you are not alone. A staggering 80% of Americans are burdened with some form of debt. That's right, 4 out of 5 of us are in the same boat, navigating the choppy waters of credit card bills, mortgages, student loans, you name it. Now, some people might say, hold on, a mortgage isn't really debt, it's an investment. And I get it. It's a place to live, it's building equity, maybe it even feels like a forced savings plan. But let's be real, that monthly mortgage payment still weighs heavily on your finances. Even setting aside the behemoth that is housing debt, the numbers are still alarming. Think about this. Back in 1948, the average American carried about $1,100 in consumer debt, adjusted for inflation, of course. Fast forward to 2008, and that number skyrocketed to over $10,000. We're talking about a tenfold increase in just a few decades. It's no wonder so many people feel like they're drowning in debt. This isn't just some random statistic. It's a reflection of the very real financial struggles we face today. Think about it. Skyrocketing college tuition, rising housing costs, stagnant wages. It's like we're stuck in a financial pressure cooker. It's no wonder that over half of Americans admit to feeling emotional distress because of their finances. But hey, this isn't meant to be a doom and gloom session. The good news is there's a way out. It's not a magic bullet, it's not a get-rich-quick scheme, but it is achievable. It's about taking control of your money, making conscious choices, and committing to a journey toward financial freedom. And that's what we're going to unpack today. Think of debt like a trap, a sneaky one that whispers promises of instant gratification while quietly stealing your future freedom. We fall into it one bad decision at a time, justifying each purchase with a million little excuses. We tell ourselves, I deserve this, or it's just a small loan, it won't hurt. And before we know it, we're buried under a mountain of financial obligations. Let me give you a real-life example that might resonate with some of you. Buying a car. Now, unless you live in a city with amazing public transport, chances are you need a car to get around. It's a necessity, right? But here's where we often go wrong. We convince ourselves that we need the latest model, the one with all the bells and whistles. We justify it by saying, it's only a few $1,000s more for heated seats and a sunroof. Besides, I'm terrible at parallel parking, so I need that automatic parking feature. We equate our hard work with deserving luxury, falling prey to the seductive marketing messages that tell us we're worth it. So, instead of being financially responsible, instead of buying a reliable used car with cash, we take that cash and use it as a down payment on a brand new car that's way out of our budget. We tell ourselves, what's another loan on top of my mortgage, student loans, and credit card debt? But here's the thing, it all adds up. Every time we make a decision like this, we dig ourselves deeper into a financial hole, delaying our financial freedom. And the worst part, we perpetuate this cycle by showcasing our success on social media. We post pictures of our new car, our fancy clothes, our latest gadgets, all while hiding the anxiety and stress that come with each bank statement. It's almost like we've normalized this idea of living beyond our means. Going to a community college, living with your parents to save money, driving an older car. These choices are often met with judgment or viewed as lesser than. We've created this culture where accumulating stuff equals happiness and acceptance. But here's the truth. It doesn't have to be this way. You don't have to follow the crowd. You have the power to choose a different path, a path that leads to financial freedom and peace of mind. Will it be easy? Absolutely not. It takes courage to go against the grain, to make different choices than your friends and family, to prioritize your financial well-being over societal pressures. But trust me, it is worth it. Imagine a life where you're not weighed down by debt, where you have the financial security to pursue your passions, to take risks, to leave a job you hate. That's the power of financial freedom. Let me tell you a personal story. When I was 22, I was swimming in debt. I'm talking over $117,000 in student loans and car payments. It felt like an insurmountable mountain, a weight that threatened to crush me. At first, I did what many people do. I ignored it. I shoved it to the back of my mind, hoping it would magically disappear. But then it hit me. I realized that if I didn't change my ways, I would be 40 years old, still making payments on decisions I made when I was barely an adult. That's when I knew I had to take control. It wasn't easy, but I made drastic changes, and within 4 years, I was debt-free. So how did I do it? How did I go from feeling hopeless to financially free? It all started with a few key realizations and changes I made in my life. First, I recognized the power of my social circle. We are incredibly influenced by the people around us. And if those people are constantly spending money they don't have, it's easy to get caught up in that cycle. I made the difficult but necessary decision to distance myself from those influences. I unfollowed accounts on social media that made me feel inadequate or pressured to keep up with the Joneses. Next, I embraced the fundamental rule of personal finance: spend less than you earn. It sounds so simple, yet so many of us struggle with it. We get a raise, and instead of saving or investing that extra income, we immediately upgrade our lifestyle. We fall into the trap of thinking we deserve to treat ourselves, and before we know it, we're back to square one. The key is to break this cycle. Start by tracking your expenses, identifying areas where you can cut back, and creating a budget that aligns with your financial goals. It might mean making sacrifices, like moving back in with your parents, which, by the way, had the added bonus of delicious lasagna in my case, downsizing your apartment, or cutting back on non-essential expenses. One positive thing that came out of the pandemic was that it forced many of us to become more resourceful. We learned to cut our own hair, cook at home more often, and find creative ways to stay entertained without spending a fortune. These small changes might seem insignificant in the grand scheme of things, but they can add up to significant savings over time. Remember, becoming debt-free is a marathon, not a sprint. It's about making consistent, sustainable changes that will set you up for long-term success. There will be times when you feel discouraged, when you'll be tempted to give up and go back to your old ways. But that's when it's even more crucial to remind yourself why you started this journey in the first place. One of the most powerful mindset shifts I experienced was realizing that as long as I was in debt, the money I earned wasn't really mine. It belonged to the bank, to the creditors. Every time I received a paycheck, a part of me knew it wasn't truly mine to spend freely. This realization, while initially disheartening, became a turning point. It motivated me to work even harder to break free from that financial constraint. It's so easy to fall into the trap of consumerism. We're bombarded with advertisements, new product releases, and messages that tell us we need the latest and greatest gadgets, clothes, and experiences to be happy. But here's the truth: you don't need any of it. Instead of giving in to impulse purchases or keeping up with the latest trends, challenge yourself to resist the urge to spend. Buy used, buy refurbished, borrow from friends and family, and prioritize experiences over material possessions. Remember, true wealth isn't measured by the things you own, but by the freedom and choices you have in your life. It's about having the financial security to pursue your passions, to weather unexpected storms, and to create a life you love without being chained to debt. It's a journey that requires patience, discipline, and a willingness to make difficult choices. But I promise you, the rewards of financial freedom are worth every sacrifice. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Simple Mind Space for more tips and strategies on mastering your money and your mind. Until next time, keep striving for a brighter financial future.